time for the tarot portion of the evening. We're going to start with our opening act, our little demons. Facing our demons just straight out the gate, right after this 60-second ad break. Alright, I'll just admit I'm a little distracted. It's that PMDD brain, I'll tell you what, during that premenstrual week. Holy fuck. Oh man, don't tell me we're gonna do the delay from hell right now. We know how to fix this though. I just have to exit out of the web browser and it should catch up when I reopen it. It worked last night. We're gonna hope it works again. I realize that in the upcoming days I'll probably have to take a couple days off. So I'll probably end up having a night where we just do like 5 boom, 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 boom readings in a night to catch up and keep on track from 31 days. How's the lag? Not good. Okay, not that bad. We're gonna move on. Hope it improves over time. Okay. First up, the demons. So, if you don't already know, the Demon Oracle I usually restrict to things that you would associate with hell, such as money, labor, finances, work, careers, etc. But during spooky season, I feel like these 4 are going to be money related. During spooky season, but specifically during Halloween season, the month of Halloween, I kind of let them just advise on whatever it is they feel is necessary. And I let them cut loose a bit and do full spreads. I'm considering introducing them into my regular routine, but I feel like it could get messy quickly, and I know how people typically feel about demons. So I do like to use them with care. But sometimes these readings can be really badass when I let them be their full selves, but I think as demons they also understand that this isn't even their realm, so I think it's okay with them to come out mostly in October. But we'll see, because they do behave well for me. I really do love my demons. Uh, honestly, though, some people should just watch the replays. Any time of day, right? Less disruptive that way. Got quite a few cards on the table. We'll go top and bottom. And these lineups. This pile, I'm seeing like not necessarily 4, 4, 4, but there is 2 piles of 4, 2 piles of 2, and a pile of 3. It's almost like 4, 3, 2. Okay. So at the top we have Zafan. Okay. And you're definitely fanning some fires. Oh, thank you. Remember, the demons can also relate to karmic connections. Lovers or not. But in the month of October, it's whatever they want. Maybe that'll be the compromises. I'll still do karmic readings with the demons, but I won't do anything else besides the typical career and finance, which we do have a row of. When I was saying that, 4 of them came out. So we are going to look at the, you never asked, and it's none of your even business. So we will look at what the month of October is going to be like in terms of work, still, money, etc. But there's definitely a more important message that honestly it's all face down. And I'm seeing a number of cards in reverse, which I don't typically honor. But because these are expanding beyond their typical use, I did last night and it will continue this month to do so. So I'm going to start with Zafan. Beware of being swept into a mob mentality of taking disputes and protests to violent or disruptive actions. Yeah, be careful. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe the hype. And at the bottom, we have Adramelich. Beware of judging by appearances, especially those who dress to impress but have no substance behind their style. So if there's someone who seems to look good and be in a maybe status position, right? And they're like trying to convince everyone that someone else or something is bad for them, that's kind of a red flag, to say the least. So just be careful. Just know who you're taking direction from. Even if you have to take direction from them, just know who they are and what they're about. No matter how good they look on the outside, that does not necessarily indicate anything that they are on the inside. Between the two of them at the start of the day, you might see that people are not the same by the end of the day. That's on you. Why are you relating to my demon cards, Karmic. Alright. I think I will go with this pile. Once again, there's 2 upright, 2 in reverse, and it's every other. I'm seeing that down here as well. So things are a little topsy-turvy right now. We'll start with the Sabbat. I don't know why. Why am I holding this upside down? I don't know why I always say Sabbat when it's pretty mutually known as the Sabbath. Or am I thinking keep holy the Sabbath is Sabbath and Sabbat is Sabbat? I don't know. I always say Sabbat though, so I'm just gonna keep saying it, even if I'm saying it wrong until somebody corrects me, quite honestly. Focus on tradition and ceremony. Surround yourself with family and like-minded individuals. That's going to be key to not getting swept up in a mob mentality, is to make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with aren't just assimilating to one another and actually standing in their own truth with their own values and their own opinions. That's the thing. It's like you're just regurgitating a bunch of bullshit to each other and affirming what you already know. Not only are you not learning anything new, you're stunting your own growth. And if you're not growing at all, then, well, you're more of a weed than anything, right? Let's smoke. Okay. We got Moloch, but in reverse. I don't think Moloch's that great, though, to begin with, so having it in reverse might not necessarily be a bad thing. Moloch. Beware of stern punishments and unyielding strictness. Okay, so it's in reverse. That's weird, because, like, I'm pretty sure last night Moloch came up in the upright. And so to see that there's actually been a quick turnaround, it feels like if you watched both this reading and the last one, then there has been a release of control, release in pressure. Maybe it just took a second to be called out for something like that. And then realizing that, oh shit, maybe I have been too strict, and coming around to that energy and releasing it. It can be, the hardest part is addressing something, and then, it's a lot easier to adjust once you do. So it seems like people are making progress in that way. So I would say that's a good thing. I'm proud of you. We got Nebus. Focus for dreams, both inspiring visions and relaxing daydreams, and knowing the difference between the two. Okay. I made a joke yesterday about being somewhere in a garden with John Lennon, and that's a relaxing daydream. Okay, that's obviously not a 3D reality, now is it? But when I go to a place in the future, that is an inspiring vision, right? So don't sit here and make your relaxing daydream something that is attainable in the 3D that you're not getting, and think that your dreams of your inspired vision are the daydreams. Does that make sense? Like, check yourself. Make sure that where you're putting your focus and how much focus you're putting in. And creating images that you want to see, instead of succumbing to any kind of like violent intrusions, or being a product of not just your environment but what we consume. I don't know if this is a photographic memory thing, but sometimes I can think about a TV show and just start playing episodes of it. Typically, if I've seen it more than once, can I actually play scenes as they are. And if I've only seen a show once through, maybe it'll be like more the show itself, if that makes sense. But if you do too much of that, then it's like, create your own world, create your own TV show, if you will. That sounds, it sounds like wayward advice, but that is what Nibas is here to say. Focus for dreams, both inspiring visions, aka your future that you're trying to manifest, and relaxing daydreams, aka your happy place that you escape to in non-reality. And knowing the difference between the two. Try to make it very drastic difference so that your brain doesn't confuse it either. Make your daydream world very non-3D. You know what I'm saying? That's why John Lennon's in the garden with me, because there's never going to be a scenario in this 3D world in this lifetime that me and physical John Lennon are going to be in a garden, right? So when I go there, I know I'm escaping reality, and I'm like, why am I in the garden, John? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe you can go back out. Like, okay, you're right. I'm going to come back to fucking reality. If you're escaping to something that is in this reality, guess what? You're still here. Can that make sense? Garuda, but in reverse. Focus on patience and perseverance in difficult situations and on repaying those who help attain goals. It's in reverse, it's paid off. You no longer owe anybody anything. That's probably an exaggeration. But if there is a specific situation that you have been using patience and you've been trying to push through and such, repaying debts, or perhaps there was an exchange of work, energy, trade for pay, something like that. It could be even like giving someone space in your space, and it's like, okay, time's up. Whatever it is, it's in reverse now, so it's paid off. You are even, you're done with that situation, okay? Balan. Focus on listening instead of speaking, observing instead of being observed. Okay, so this one was in the reverse yesterday. I feel like, I don't know if anybody who was, maybe it wasn't yesterday. Yeah, it must have been yesterday. It was the first day of Halloween, right? Um, so I don't know if the same person is watched or a couple people watching. To see Mullock in the opposite direction and Balan in the opposite direction would really indicate that people are picking things up quickly, and that was part of kind of what we were saying about Libra season, where we weren't sure that anything specific was going to happen, but a lot would be revealed to us. And then we adjusted the narrative to that I would have to be delivering a lot of these messages. But it is about, listening and observing. Well, as yesterday it was more about speaking up, and now it's like, okay, peace be said. Here we are, listening, back tuning in. Okay, nice. That's good. I think this is, I think it's all really good stuff. Every time I see Garuda, I think Barracuda. Yeah, see, I like my demon cards. I think they're really well behaved, and they just get a bad rep. But I'm working on it because I'm like, y'all, trust me, I'm Catholic. And they're like, oh, I'm Christian. And I'm like, do you know anything about Catholics? And they're like, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So I've got three cards here. Ooh, okay, juicy. So I got 3 cards face down, 2 in the upright, 1 in reverse. The one in the middle is reverse. And on the other side, I've got two face-up cards, 1 in reverse, 1 in the upright. And I just noticed that underneath the upright position, there's something upright face down. So if something is face down, it needs to come to surface. It's not being addressed. It's not a front burner, okay? And it needs to, so that you can get this stuff, right? Let's see, brooms. Brooms is in reverse. Focus on home and hearth, cleansing and purification. Brooms in reverse. Okay, enough with the cleansing and purification. Stop. Focusing too much on the home and hearth, putting too much effort into it. Just relax, oddly enough. Seems like kind of not the advice I normally give, but if you've done a pretty good fall cleanup, just stop while you're ahead. You will regret continuing the process of cleansing, okay, if that's what you want. Ad break. Okay. Yeah, apparently you gotta just slow your roll on the cleaning. Chill. Chill on that. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. You have Alistair. Focus on liberal sciences, including observation and charting. That really boils down to astrology, folks. There is really not much else. You might, you might have a knack for astrology or be looking for answers that might be able to be answered in astrology, looking at your birth chart or their birth chart or my birth chart. I don't fucking know. I don't know why I suggested that last one. Please don't. But that is the focus, is the charting. So good luck with that. And it's funny because it's like the cleansing and purification being in reverse and then focusing on liberal sciences is almost like would indicate to me that there's a strong pull towards something or a natural gift or knack at something and you are resistant to doing it, and it's probably in relation to astrology. I would not be as vague as to say it would be beyond astrology because it's like, I don't know. It's anything I guess that could be constituted as a liberal science, which I'm not really sure, but emphasis on astrology. We'll put it that way. Okay? Now, what's the blockages though? So there is still something preventing you from that, and then there's also something you don't see behind it. So let's see what's blocking it first. Big reveals. Who is it? Buffonite. The anecdote. That's a good thing though. This is basically DMT. Focus on finding worth and beauty in circumstances or items that others may regard as ugly, even if it means yourself. Okay? That's really great. Focus on finding worth and beauty in circumstances or items that others may regard as ugly. Okay, so that's one blockage to living the life you're meant to have, is that you don't see the beauty in it. You don't see the value of astrology, so why would you learn about it? You can't see the beauty in yourself, so why would you think that there's anything good coming, etc. First, you must find the worth, and then you go towards it. Okay, so what are we letting go of? Who are we letting go of? Is that Bereavra? It is. Bereavra came up in the upright yesterday and is in the reverse today. So like I said, quick learners. That's October. It's like this. The second you hear it, it's like it hits you where it's like, been meaning to work on that, been meaning to do that. That's right. I forgot. I didn't notice. Click, click. That makes sense. It's Libra season, so think adaptability of like an air sign, agility, even the harvests, getting your shit together and in order and knowing who you are before you go pick up your crops, basically, right? That's cool. What's Bereavra about? Why is this in reverse all of a sudden? Yesterday it was in upright. Beware of allowing fear to overcome logic. Focus on gaining knowledge to conquer fears instead of trying to destroy things we don't understand. How amazing. It's like right behind that door you're conquering your greatest fears. That's incredible. Maybe the work isn't done quite yet because you haven't quite faced the fear itself, but you are working on it and it will be overcome. And once you, remove that block of the fear existing at all, right? You definitely, it's clear you overcome it, but once again, hasn't happened yet, right? That's like the point. Final blockage. You're not Uranome. This dude's on the toilet. He's like your best ideas and also your worst ideas coming here. Oh, it is Uranome. Okay. Fuck yeah. Maybe he's not toilet guy. I think Uranome came in the upright yesterday. Beware of holding on to things past their natural end. Focus on allowing grief and loss to run their natural course. Move on to a new cycle. So, You gotta, I mean, in order to have a new life, you gotta let go of your old life. And I think that's what it comes down to, is that can be a really hard thing to do, and it can be a hard transition to make. But at the end of the day, it's worth it because you're seeing it all play out, right? You see how it benefits you and everything. So, what's behind, who was it? Not Alice, or who the fuck was it? Not Bailon. I don't remember. Yeah, it was somebody with an A. Not, it doesn't matter. Right behind observation and charting and being an astrologer or whatever, liberal scientist. What comes after that? Who is that? He looks on Piccolo? Yeah, Pickles. Okay. Pickles. I haven't seen him in a long time. But that's probably because it's like once you get everything going is when you see these things start to happen. Beware of long-standing or family feuds, of allowing old resentments to linger past the time when anyone remembers what started the dispute. Reconciliation, time after time. That is, yeah. I mean, at some point, once you do all your healing, you get at the end of it, and you realize that it probably wasn't even worth being mad about in the first place, and you can revisit once you get far enough away from it. You know what I mean? I think that's like a best case scenario. How great. If you're family, right? It's been a long, hot summer. I miss you. It's a bummer, yeah. We both traveling. You're somewhere south of Wichita. I'm up here somewhere under the moon, and I can't see you. Got two more. I mean, 3 sounds good, but I don't know if we'll get a third here. Yep. Bael again. Oh, Came is a nice place to stop too. Emphasis on Bael, so I'll start there. Well, yeah, Came is like listen to nature sounds, I think. He's just literally a bird. Focus on listening to ambient sounds for calm, relaxation, and inspiration. Yeah, so just fucking relax your ass. It's not always about work. Sometimes it's about play, too. Sometimes it's about you. Sometimes it's about everyone else. Sometimes it's about all of us, right? And Bael. Emphasis on Bael. I honestly am blanking on. He's come up so much in the past 2 days. Something about Bael. Remember this. Beware of status symbols. No wonder I couldn't think of it. Yeah, beware of status symbols, names, ranks, or possessions. Be sure that the person behind the title is worth the esteem. Especially if you're giving them the things. Especially if, Jesus, that seems like such a specific message to reinstate over the last 2 days. Beware of status symbols, names, ranks, possessions. Be sure that the person behind the title is worth the esteem. I don't know why that's being emphasized for some people. I mean, I probably do know, but that's neither here nor there. Get a personal reading. Shit. All right, Andrus. Beware of cutting off your nose to spite your face, causing harm to others. That only comes back to harm oneself. Have you not had enough of that yet, you know? Don't keep doing it. Got Rehovart. I think he's about the old folks, right? The curmudgeons of the world. Maybe that's not him. No. Nope, it is. Focus on seeing past the harsh armor of age and experience. Many sharp or grumpy individuals are simply harsh because life has taught them to expect the worst of others, so they show the worst of themselves first. Listen, it's not a bad defense mechanism. I think it honestly tells a lot about someone to be cautious enough to just be rude, because the thing is, some people will give you a second chance and other people won't. And they know right out the gate that if they don't get a second chance from someone, it wasn't really worth being nice in the first place. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to come off that way, or maybe I'm justifying it because I know I do, and I'm not even old. So, just saying. And the major blockage. Barbados? Isn't he just like get out in nature? Focus on closeness to the natural world and understanding of plants and animals. Cool. Cool. Go talk to your dog or something, bro. What the fuck? Doesn't he talk? Yeah. I think we're good on the demons, right? I did just see Malcolm, and I made a comment about how much I like him, so I will read his aloud as a last. Focus on budgeting and frugality. Just a reminder. Just a reminder. Sometimes, if you can't convince yourself to give up your vices for your own health, sobriety, and mindset, you can do so by saying, oof, my pockets. Right? Just a thought. But that's right, I'm just a thought. Okay. Moving into the Halloween Oracle portion of the evening, and as promised, Nikola Tesla. I think it'll be cool. So, experience today. I was walking around town, decided to stop at a local business, and I noticed something that very much caught my attention in a way that it sent me back to some ambiguous date at least 10 years ago in some other place very similar to the one I was in that I could picture, like, as well as the back of my hand, right? And it really warmed me up from the inside out. It made me fucking so happy just to think of a different version of myself walking through a store like that one, and looking around and just being new to things, and even having more hope than I do now, somehow unimaginably. Just, it was a very cute memory. It really touched me. And I'm very much over romanticizing it, because when you see what I bought, you'll be like, are you kidding me? And I'll be like, I am not. There's a jug of Mississippi mud, man. I remember when this shit like first hit the fucking place at the corner at the time, our corner in that moment, and I'm pretty sure this shit was at least $8.99, if not $9.99. I think it was like $8.99, and it's now $4.99. I was like, wow, maybe y'all need to stop doing the beehive think thing, right? Group mentality thinking, because you're driving up inflation. You all want the same shit because you're in constant competition with one another, because they made characteristics of narcissism seem normal as to justify their means of hoarding wealth. Okay? Fuck. So anyway, I'm walking home with this jug of mud, and I haven't had it in like 10 years. And I was like, damn, I realize I'm trying to take requests for the people on my list, for the month, because I already went out and bought my pack of cigarettes that I closed, and that's why I think Nico's been ready to go. She's ready to smoke, and so I was like, oh shit, I didn't even check in with Tesla as to what his request would have been, but apparently I did. He, it's not that he would drink Mississippi mud, but the jug is also what caught him. So it's funny that I haven't seen it in so long. But I knew instantly to get it. But I thought about it for a second, or I asked him, and that was kind of the joke at the end of the day, is that it's what he wanted. Yeah, like I nailed it. Is the homemade feel of a homebrew beer from a jug of his time or whatever. So please forgive me when I say I guess I don't know a lot about Tesla. I do, but I don't. Can't remember where he's from. I want to say like Vienna or Austria or something. Maybe Vienna's in Austria. Damn, I sound ignorant as fuck. Yeah. Well, I'm not perfect. Um, I'm pretty smart, and my memory is only, I don't know, a fraction as good as it usually is when I'm not in the premenstrual week of dysphoria. So, forgive me. And I think at a point he lived in Italy or moved to Italy for something, and he ended up in America for a time at least, right? He was in New York. I don't know. Couldn't tell you when he was born. Couldn't tell you his birthday. I want to say he's a Sagittarius for some reason, but I have no idea. I don't remember. Cheers, Tesla. I know he invented some kind of grid system, right, that would give essentially free energy to everyone. His design was never profitable for him in his lifetime because it would have rendered everything else unprofitable. Well, no one had to pay for anything. So they told him he was crazy. He died off, and they stole his idea and marketed to children. Are we caught up on Tesla? Am I missing anything? Share any of your Tesla facts that you know now before we get this reading started. Um, we're drinking a Pilsner, a porter and a Pilsner. He said, yeah, that was really popular back then. He was really surprised also to see this in the liquor store. I changed my look a little bit today and went with Tesla Blue coil waves. And I hope my shirt, as dorky as I look, I really hope it can be appreciated that when I was dressing for Tesla, I went for Buzzworthy. I didn't know you laughed. People are so funny when they say that, because it's like, if you don't tell me you're gone and I have other viewers, I'm just not gonna assume anyone's watching. But welcome back. We're about to channel Nikola Tesla, who I don't know much about. So if you have any Tesla facts, please share now if you feel like it. And in what costume shall the poor girl wear? Okay, good night. To all tomorrow's parties. What is it? Something about Thursdays, right? From yesterday's club. Okay, that's really weird. Presumptuous to think it's a boyfriend when all I've told you is partner. Guess I haven't solidified myself as the queer icon that I am. When in the fuck have I ever in my life said I was straight? I don't think not even once. My first crush was a Kmart. I think that's all we need to know. I was like, no, you cannot force me to pick a man. I picked Kmart instead. Okay. Ew. Like 2 days ago on Twitch? Who are you? And I told you I don't have any Gemini X's. Are you gonna go now? or reveal your identity once again. Can't wait to see who be me for Halloween. Okay, we're doing my scheduled ad break and then getting back to the reading. Please stop making everything by yourself. 60 seconds. Okay, look, I told you I'm a little easily distracted during this time of the month. And this alcohol, I have barely sipped it and it's hitting hard, so I'm going to tell you right now. I think this is about to be a really, really cool reading, and it's going to start with me telling you a story about how I kind of learned about Tesla coilings in the way that you don't learn in school, but from my meditations preceding my accident, which I never really completely told that story. I started to, and I did not love the energies that were on my channel at the time. It was a disappointing night, but I will eventually, especially as Halloween comes, there will be more to the story for sure. But in the months after that happening, which again was really scary, really painful, but I've healed a lot since then, so ultimately I hope it was worth it, but so far, not so much. My gosh, I was having these meditations and I was seeing these big transformers with these globes, and they're like that purple, and I had been practicing with that blue electricity net that I was discussing in those readings the other night. How it kind of is this grid of electricity and pulsation that encompasses the world and connects each individual as a person, creates maps and waves around everything that we know and protrudes out to make our own atmosphere to protect us from the outside world, right? Cute, 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 cute. So I was getting into these deep meditations because I was healing, so I was using meditation music to kind of heal my physical wounds at the time. And saw these coils, these bulbous globes, and they blew electricity, and I could feel my own. I was finally healed enough to where it was a test of how much I could give back to the coil and share my power on the grid. And that's, I think, the first moment that I connected with Tesla. But I didn't do a reading necessarily. I wasn't doing the deceased channel messages on my channel until I got the Halloween Oracle, because that's when I knew I was ready and that it was my time to do it. But at the time, I still did definitely have the power of necromancy, but once again, it was not quite refined enough to be doing it like I do now, and to this extreme or at this level. So that was the first time I connected with Tesla. I could see him very clearly, I've seen his images so many times, but he presents himself as someone who is, well, he is very radical. That was his whole point. And the thing is, he never really considered himself radical. He was always very naive and innocent in a way as a boy. Because it's not that he was innocent in the way that he never made mistakes, and he can't even say he was bullied as much as maybe he was mean. And people weren't always nice to him because he was always a grump all the time. And it's not to say anybody owes anybody anything anyways. Nobody needs to make your experience any better than what it's going to be, He's taken me back to my own elementary school cafeteria, sitting on a bench at these long tables. Photographic memory, sure, you can take me back to those days. I remember having some tough days where it did feel like I was alone or the lights were too bright, just like now. And we see our cycles before they play out, right? So he kind of knew he was going to live this life of not necessarily misery, but perhaps loneliness. I think he had an Aquarian moon. I feel like he had an Aquarian moon. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not even just trying to be biased. That is like Aquarian moon. Lonely, altruistic, ultimately doing things for the good of things and not for the payment. And it's painful even because he was lonely and broke as fuck till the day he died. And he honestly makes me feel like he wants better for me, which I think is very sweet, very thoughtful, and I'm doing my best, bro. Cheers to life. Oh, he loves that it says mud. There was tough stuff. There was some war. I don't know. I want to say Russian war. Again, I don't really know. I said you can spit your Tesla facts right here. I'm not claiming to know any. So anything I say, I'm not going to guarantee is historically accurate. We would have to look it up later. But I'm going to go with whatever he's saying as to not be rude and try to debate facts. But by all means, if you know more than I do, I didn't finish the biography. I bought his. I don't even know where it is. So that's where we're at. Okay. He lived through the wars. There was Russian wars when he was, I don't know what time era he was in. Maybe it was the Tsarina, something about that. He says, he felt like there was a devil, someone summoned the devil into the world or his life or something, and that's who taught him this knowledge of like how to free the people and free electricity. But at the same time, he sees now what the devil meant, where, it didn't pay off for him in this lifetime, even though he discovered it and he knew it, and now everybody knows it, and he shared that information for nothing for himself, and yet somehow we are still on the same fucking electric power grid that we were always on. So his curse was that he learned the knowledge he wanted. Satan showed him, told him what he wanted to know, but the problem was there was no way to plant it because there was no seeds involved. He wasn't seeded with the knowledge that's the proper course of action. And then he reminds me that I told you all in the stream the other day that the first image I had was a hand coming down and putting a seed in my head and saying, we'll just plant this here. I was seeded with the idea. He exchanged something. That's what's so weird is he wasn't He was a scientist. He wasn't religious, but somebody had told him about this demon being spawned during the Russian War. He lived through the Russian War, or something like that. Eh, Russian soldiers. There was a story among the Russian soldiers. He was a Russian soldier, or something, and there was a story among them about the Thangnalis demon or something. Thangnalis demon, and he thought that he would want to know how electricity worked, or in the way that you could power the world, and so he did. Nobody uses it. Don't understand why. And that's just what happens. It's like not necessarily that he signed a contract or sold his soul. It was just, sometimes knowing is the damnedest thing you can do. Make peace with what is or what must be, and radicalize until you are free. It was sort of a sad thing for him to be fallen victim even to something so pretty as the devil, that there couldn't have been any other explanation. And he sits here now and sees it all, and sees what I do, and sees what all of it's become. And he thinks, of course, how could you have phones without the coils? But that's why they told him about the coils. And when he told everyone else, they made him sound crazy, only to then discover themselves not the coils, but the devil. Make no haste. Interesting. Wow. Thank you for the follow. I didn't even realize anybody was watching this. It's really interesting, though. I mean, this is like a really interesting take, because I would have never, ever, ever thought. Who would have thought Tesla was going to attribute his life to Satanism? That's not really how the channel works. I'm so sorry. I'm like in Nikola Tesla. Thank you, basic bitch. I was thinking basically when I said basic bitch, not using that against anyone else. I'm sorry. So, it's interesting that messages of the devil or Satan comes up when talking to Tesla. He sits back like this and moves his arms like this in such a way where I've been there and almost paralyzed with seeing, intergalactic landscapes from your own bed. And I feel like that's his energy all the time, was knowing too much, even. He wasn't great with people. He would have never really been able to do interviews. That's why he seemed like a crock pot when he went up in front of people, because his brain was working so much faster trying to understand and generate his own coil. Just like I was saying, when I meditated and I thought about it, it just came up, and it was like, obviously Tesla energy was so weird. It was literally 2 years ago. It was either like March 2020 or maybe earlier than that. I don't know. It was kind of wild though. And it was just like generating power for the world around you in ways that you can't even fathom, because we're still on such a strict line by line power grid that fails us, and probably not. I don't even know what that is, but thanks. Sounds like I'd have to do the most if I was going to, because of people like you. Amen. Okay. There was one time that I think he was caught on fire. I heard the Used song, I Caught Fire, for a second. I was like, that seems like not Tesla's lane. And it was like, no, literally, I caught fire. That's what made him very curious about everything. He was 9 years old, in his yard. I don't want to say backyard. He didn't have a backyard. I think it was an alley lot behind the house. He's showing me my own home when I was very young. We had a courtyard, and he said it's like that, but it was different. He's calling it more like a ghetto because it was at a time, post-war America, maybe? No, not when he was 9. He wasn't here yet, I don't think. So somewhere in Europe, probably toward maybe by World War One. Don't know his time frame. Like I said, if you know any Tesla facts, spit them out, bro. I don't know what we're talking about here. He caught on fire, and his mother put him out. One of the chickens got burned, but lived, and um, they roasted it for dinner anyways. Figured it was chosen. His mother said that it was a sacrifice she needed to make because God spared her son or something. Okay, so they ate the chicken that night. Ah, that's so creepy because something about chicken bones, dude. What the fuck? I wish Cassie Dink was here right now because we did the Bonnie and Clyde channel message, and fuck Clyde was big part of the message. Is Elizabeth May Parker? What's her name? No, Bonnie Elizabeth Parker, not Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, so we were talking to Bonnie Elizabeth Parker the other day, and she was talking about how she was eating chicken at her fucking kitchen table, and she would line up the bones, right? I think it was Bonnie. And that's when yeah, it was, because I was saying it in that weird Texas accent where she's like, my mom always knew I wasn't right. She said it was me lining up them chicken bones that made her know that I wasn't right. But now Tessa is saying a very similar thing with the chickens, where he's like, yeah, I caught on fire. One of the chickens also caught on fire, and even though it lived, my mom was superstitious, and she forced us to eat the chicken that night, and so she made me eat the chicken all the way to the bone, and I almost never wanted to eat chicken again because I felt so guilty, even though the chicken would have been eaten eventually. I felt like I wasn't sure if my life was worth the chicken's life, if it was worth more. Who is to say just because he has feathers, and I use a fork? Um, it was hard for me to grapple with that at the age of 9, being so existentious. And to have no answers and no one to talk to about it because it was just me and my mother. I mean, I'm seeing his home. I don't remember the father really. I don't think the father was there. Um, Again, I don't know anything about Tesla's actual life. This is just what I'm hearing from the channel message. You'd have to correct me, and literally by all means, if anybody wants to look up Tesla facts, maybe I'll pull some up on the next 60-second ad break that we're gonna take in about a minute. Um, that would probably be a good idea. See how much of this is accurate or that I can verify pretty quickly. See how that goes. Cool. I don't know if anybody else is enjoying this, but I sure the fuck am. This is so cool. I get why people were requesting Tesla. There was more than one request. I tried to post it in advance so that the people who wanted to see Tesla could, but that's why I'm gonna try to label my readings and say, which day. But I think I need to actually account for the fact that I might be taking days off this coming week, and I may have to double up tonight. I feel like I should do a second one, but I don't know yet. Um, I'm going to take this ad break. I'm going to look up a couple things about Tesla, and we will be right back.
Okay, I didn't honestly look up that. I'm like, I'm not trying to read all that. I got shit to do over here, okay? But I did key facts. He was a Cancer, not a Sagittarius. Don't know why I thought that. July 10th, 1856. And he was from Croatia, not Vienna or Austria, whatever I said. Um, but he did die in New York, so I was right about New York City because I did mention that. So I don't know where he was in between those things or what war was happening in Europe when he was 9 around that time. I don't know what the fuck Russian war. I'd have to look further into it, but I wasn't about to get caught up on internet browsers right now. So, ah, there was something I read that triggered a thought in my head. Gosh, it says it listed Voltaire as one of his inspirations, and I just wish I still had my copy of Candide, and I bet I do somewhere. But I would love to read it again because I read it in high school and it is a translation, but I would be so interested in seeing that again. You know what's so weird is I asked my partner earlier what incense he wanted, and I had zodiac incense, and they said Cancer, and I made a joke about why, and they said no, nothing. Turns out Tessa's a Cancer, so good call. That's so wild, and I am very baffled and impressed by that even. Okay, I think, let me see. We'll do an Aquarius since I'm convinced that he's an Aquarius moon. Okay. All right. Um, any questions or anything? I'm gonna go back in. I'm kind of enjoying talking to them. I feel like even if nobody watching right now is enjoying this, the people who requested him are gonna rewatch this at their leisure and very much enjoy it. So I'm really doing it for me and them. Okay. Tesla. I feel like he's saying something in a language I don't know. Or he's talking about the jinn, the genies, the wishes, the jinn. Something that they never know is when the castle disintegrates from within the walls because the slime and the mold that you breathe as a royal deteriorates the brain enough to be overtaken by any other such being. That's creepy. That's creepy. I feel like we were keeping it light, talking about his life, talking a little bit about science. Maybe it was a little bit about religion. It's interesting he brought up the devil, and now he's talking about this creepy shit about slime mold. What is going on? It's not that he's insane, but it's like once you do get to the other side, you see what it's all worth, and you see what it all was, and you see, once again, he's like this. You see what it all was, and you see things for how they are, and even knowing, because I told the devil I wanted to know, but how could I ever convey my experience of what I have seen or what I have been told, and by whom and what source everyone wants to know who's your greatest teacher? And I say, the Underlord. And they say, what are you talking about? And it's because there's no way you could ever explain everything that you could conceptualize in your mind. Especially because everyone's vision is different. We don't all see the man lying in the grass. We don't all see the things in the sky with the gates and pearly this and that. We don't all have the same worship or the same practice. Who is to say? Who is to say who would be right and who would be wrong? We're all man. We are all one. So ultimately, you have no better clue than I do, just like I have no better clue than you do. I could never tell you what I saw. I could never tell you what I saw. But I saw things that could change the world. I thought. Sometimes I was wrong. Sometimes it's not the world that needs to be saved. Sometimes it's just you on your own. And I wish I could have seen that sooner. I wish I didn't die alone in my apartment in New York, suffering, struggling for money, sick, I think, with syphilis or something. It's kind of sad. Sit back and laugh. I was hurting time and time again. The love of my life, Michelle. She was French. Michelle, we met in New York. She died 3 days after I proposed we get something or other. Can't remember now. Nothing seemed to matter without my Michelle around. No one knew about my wife, Arlene. No one knew about her. Maybe they know her name, Arlene, but no one knew anything about her or that her dad was a Russian spy or anything like that. She lived a very private life, and one day she ran. That's why I rarely ever talked about my second wife, Arlene. And lights are so interesting. Electricity still makes me feel so passionate in a way. It still brings such joy to my heart and a spark to my brain. I think I would have been just as fine of a poet, but probably just as poor. And I think poetry helps a lot less people in a way than I could have without the coil. I had my sad days. I was happy to give my life. It was a strange feeling to accept my fate that way. To see that it did have to play out the way it did, and to learn from my mistakes, and to have no choice but to sit and look at myself, at my life, at my purpose. And I think maybe if I were to try again to be human, indeed I would try harder to repent while I was still among the land of the living. I think I would have tried harder to fit in if I knew the loneliness that would set in. If I could remember the moments I shared or cherished with another, I would be so much more complete than knowing the secrets of the universe. An endless journey that leads to an endless world, full of knowledge, wisdom. Not so much full of laughter, be it a tragedy, be sure,
to make life your own comedy. For if life does not give you comic relief, you must be the comedian. Okay? That was really endearing. Hi. Who's your roommate? I'm not falling asleep. I'm doing a channeled message. I'm envisioning Nikola Tesla and having a conversation with him. That was really fulfilling for me, at least. 11111. Maybe that's it. Yeah, probably because 111 and I woke up to stupid messages. Really? Yeah, I kind of was possessed. You can tell if I'm talking to them. I said he, and then I started saying I. And that is at the point where you can watch the transition from me having a conversation to being fully possessed. Yeah. It shouldn't scare you. Don't let it scare you. It's okay if you pee your pants. But don't let it scare you and leave a tip. Tesla's one of those people who could probably keep talking if I let him. But I probably shouldn't let him keep talking. Not necessarily it's a bad thing, but just because I can't get over exhausted on it either. And I think I get so wrapped up in the conversation because this stuff has always interested me before I even realized it was an option, right? And growing up talking to exclusively Jesus, it's kind of fun to be able to talk to anybody nowadays. And I really appreciate the conversations that I have with people who have gotten to live. It's so funny. I remember being a kid. I'm pretty sure I could even say I was in my grandma's basement. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Maybe somebody passed away. And I think I was very curious about death at a young age. And I just remember thinking, if only we could ask someone who has died what it was like. Duh. And I think I applied the Jesus theory in that moment where it was like, well, Jesus is dead and I can pray to him. So if he died, couldn't I just ask Jesus what death was like? And everyone describe, well, not everyone, but Christians all describe heaven in their own way. But none of them have died to see it, right? So I thought if I just ask Jesus, and then that's how we got here today, where you're peeing yourself because you watched me get possessed by some science sex god, Nikola Tesla. So, anyways, what's up? We probably should end that. I don't know. That was probably at least 20 minutes of it, right? I don't want to exhaust myself if I'm really trying to do 31 days of this. Yeah, I could. I guess to establish accuracy, I will try to grab something briefly, but you're not getting a 20-minute reading. I did say I would randomly gift personal readings on here to people, so I guess if you're going to ask and you're going to be here all night, let me try. Don't tell me anything. I'll see what I can do. You know what's so funny? I hate the message that I'm hearing right now. I don't know if your neighbor's name was Robert, but all I'm hearing is that he's fucking with you. So I don't know. You said maybe okay, maybe your name is it's not your name either. I feel like maybe you're making something up. But if you are noticing things outside and you're missing a neighbor, then fucking with you. Like, could be that she's showing up. Or you're lying. Because I was hearing, a name is fucking with you. So if you're saying the neighbor's a she and not the name, that I just said, then I'm guessing you might be fucking with me and not actually have. I don't know. I don't know. You've lied about a lot of things, remember? I'm just saying that was the message. Unless you watched Hulu horror movies and you ever watched the random Hulu scary movie called I'm Just Fucking With You, that would be the only other relevancy I could see. That's a very niche reference, though, so it would be really specific. I'll try again. Okay, I'll try again. No, I'm just getting this message of like, don't believe anything he says, so not really sure. I'm sorry. There's a blockage there. Maybe she doesn't want to talk to you, bro. No offense. It's very, very rare that I get denied these calls. Or did you love her? Not loving that one. Alright, moving on. Time to check out your shadow self. I think it's absolutely time for you to check out your shadow self. I'm also not trying to deviate devastating blows. It just, the only messages I heard was like, don't believe anything he says. And I don't know how to take that. And I would never assume that someone would make something up like that. But once again, you have lied several times on my channel, so it's very hard to distinguish. And perhaps that's why Spirit is telling me to block it, because perhaps you would not be prepared to receive such a message genuinely, wholly, truly. And that as much as you ask, you don't necessarily want to receive, okay? Because there's definitely a blockage around it. I don't know. I don't know. Scrying intuition. Oh, that's weird. Okay, someone is blocking your calls. Okay? I don't know. There's definitely like a young woman that's coming up and making claims against you. And I feel like the fact that you wanted to talk to your little old lady neighbor either pissed somebody off who passed away that you maybe have not addressed. Perhaps you were somehow sort of at fault or abandoned this person in some way. Your calls are being blocked for some reason or another and has nothing to do with little Ruthie next door, whoever the fuck Renee is. Okay? So, that rings a bell. None of your calls are going through, bud. Scrying, intuition. Time to deal with your shadow self. Hearth, the happiness in our hearts and homes. Somebody much closer to you than your 89-year-old neighbor passed away, and they are in disbelief that you would not try to talk to them instead of her. Okay? That's the real message. School of Darkness, blind spots. Sorry if I blindsided you there, bud. Let's take a commercial break. Everybody reassess. Regroup. Have a little cry if you want to. Okay, so as mentioned, taking a break from the Tesla reading, tried to connect with your neighbor, but you forgot about Ruthie. How dare you prioritize this Renee person over Ruthie? Got Skull of Darkness, blind spots. Once again, sorry if it blindsided you, but also expect some things to come up this month that you were not expecting to ever hear from again, to ever deal with again, to ever think again, to remember or whatever. Expect the unexpected. Skull of Stars, infinite possibilities, okay? Anything could happen, and that's why you gotta expect the unexpected. We've got forgiveness, reducing burden. Okay, it's time to let go of some grudges. I don't know who the fuck little Ruthie is supposed to be. I don't know what it means to you, but your calls are BLOCKED blocked. Called the wrong motherfucking person because there was somebody waiting to talk to you, and you said, "What about Renee?" Like, oops. Maybe it was Caitlin, but she said little Ruthie. So, don't know. Anyways, reducing burden. Forgive yourself. Because once again, if there was some inherent way that you felt you were responsible, you weren't. But you've been avoiding it ever since the day. So, that's your fun little message. Forgiveness. Learning to forgive the self and be able to talk about it, look at it, think about it, move on. Truly adjust to it. I do remember a time I was at the local recreation center and there was a concert, battle of the bands. It was a lot of fun, you know, for being in middle school, kind of a cute thing, you know. And I wonder how many people I met that night that I either never saw again or maybe did see again and didn't recognize in a moment or in the instance that we crossed paths again. Just you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tesla's a time traveler because he's been taking me all sorts of places in my own life that, of course, I could revisit at any time, but it seems he deliberately and very specifically chose a lot of interesting memories for me. A lot of interesting memories for me. So, yeah, I would say Tesla's a certified time traveler, and that was his problem in life. It's like you don't really go anywhere if you time travel. It's confusing. Ugh, we're tired now. Okay, dawn, the light after the darkness. Things are looking up. It'll all pay off. I gotta put the Halloween Oracle away. We might have a follow up on Tesla at some point, maybe later. I might type out some stuff. I don't know yet. I feel like my business here with Tesla is definitely not done. There's definitely more to learn. There's definitely more to say. But I feel like I gotta cut it off and put the Halloween Oracle away. I think this might just be a short stream tonight. I'm a bit tired. I'm feeling really like this was a heavy hitter. Like I really enjoyed this talk that I had. But I know if I get too deep in, I'll get too exhausted, and I'm trying to keep this up for a whole month. It's, you know, I'll be on all night tomorrow. Tonight, I'm trying to wrap it up. Let's get our inspiration. Thank you, Tesla. Thank you for being here. To Tesla. To Tesla. May his vision become a reality beyond his wildest dreams. Okay, let's get some cards of inspiration. I'm closing out, y'all. I'm wrapping it up here. I don't know if you could tell or if I made that obvious enough. I'm ready to, the sneezes are coming on, allergies kicking in. It's just about that time. Slow night. What a blessing. If you want to start the stream over, you can catch my demon reading. But I'm getting some final discs out and going the fuck to chill out instead of sneezing. But man, that Tesla conversation was so good. I loved it. That was really awesome. I'm super inspired by it. Like I said, I'm going to meditate on that heavily. And we got to also figure out who we're channeling tomorrow. I'm going to look at the list. I feel like Curtis Mayfield just popped in my head, so I think I'm going to run with it. think we'll do Curtis Mayfield tomorrow. Hush, not child. Yeah, we're going to do Curtis Mayfield tomorrow. Top of the deck, Aquarius. He was probably an Aquarius moon too. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Bottom of the deck, law of free will. So remember, everybody makes their own choices, including you, including them, including anybody, right? We've got commitment here. It's time to get committed to an idea, a thing, a person, a group, whatever you need to get committed to. Maybe it's just ideals, morals, values, whatever is important to you. It's time to really buckle down and be it. Okay, achieve it, become it. And we've got sower of seeds. Okay, if you don't really reap this year, this harvest year isn't beneficial to you, then you need to consider what it is you're planting for next season already. Because come spring, you're going to have to put these ideas forward. You're going to have to plant these seeds in the ground, and you're going to have to start from scratch. So you better know exactly over these next few months what it is that you are going to plant, what it is you're going to try to manifest, what it is you're trying to bring into your life or add to the garden. Okay? Face down, we got some blockages or what? Oops. We got law of compensation, Gemini, and Trinity. Okay. Love this combination of cards because we've got, first of all, law of compensation. If you owe, you will pay. And if they owe, they'll pay. You will get either or tenfold. Whoa, glitching. What's going on with my player? Okay, cool. We're back on. Law of compensation. Bring it all back to you. Okay. Gemini. Love Gemini energy. Love Geminis. Hey, you're a Gemini, right? No, you're my ex, so not a Gemini. Or you are a Gemini and not my ex. We'll figure it out together, right? Gemini season could be relevant, but honestly, Gemini energy, fun, loving, friendly, compassionate, talkative, adventurous, right? Curious, okay? Cute, yeah. We like Gemini energy. Things are going to start looking up for you because look, we've got a Trinity coming. Trinities are the opposite of black holes. Black holes kind of take all matter and turn it into nothing. Trinities take any matter and turn it into whatever you want. It's a point of creation. So just know that you're coming to this pinnacle in your life where you will be able to decide what it is exactly that you want, and you'll know the very moment to ask for it because you will see this Trinity come before you. Okay? Blockages. What's this one? I can't read these. I don't know what that means, but it's too late. Universal truth. Truth hurts me to some more exciting. Okay. Oh well. Anyways, universal truth. Gotta speak your truth, but you also have to understand that there are some truths that apply across the board and some truths that only apply to you or your life, etc. Time to even the score in a sense. I don't know what that's about. We've got initiation. Time to become your true self. Time to be inducted into the reality that you've created for yourself and the expenses that you must have paid. Was she? Never mind. And crown. Opening your crown chakra, getting to that top root. Okay. Was she woman of the night? Or I'm confused. Some kind of payment was happening between you two. That's what I only heard. Anyways, is that why she went by Little Ruthie or something? Anyway, I'm calling it for the night. Book a personal reading if there's someone you actually want to talk to. You can go to my website, www.illymilly.com. Yeah, sounds like murder or something. Like I said, you can book a personal reading. She's really pissed that she wasn't your first call and you went with the neighbor, so now you have to pay me for it. Anyway, it was a fun but quiet night. I'm glad to be resting. Tyler Durden, once again, is at bay, but still present. So I'm going to be resting as much as possible so that I can try to work through my premenstrual dysphoria and, of course, my menstrual cycle itself. But if I can go at this pace, it will be no problem. And if not, I might have the next few days off. We'll see what happens. I should be back tomorrow. Unity and evolution. We're doing this together. We are going to do this together. Okay? And at the bottom of the deck, crown once again. So keep it up, darlings. Cancer. Tesla. Last note from Tesla. Be yourself to the depth that you have absolutely no regard of who others are, because you are so in to who you are that you don't even notice. Okay? Aquarius and Capricorn. Boom. Let your winter be fruitful. There was 3 on the time and 3 viewers. I love that. All right, I'm going to sleep. Initiation at the bottom of the deck. Remember, this is a time of great transformation. This was my Tesla reading. There may be more on Tesla later. Not really sure. It's all buzzworthy. Electricity. We love to see it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the replays. Thank you for tuning in tomorrow, the next day, whenever it is that we get together and get to do this. What a blessed reality that we live in. I am so, so, so grateful that this is what I get to do. And I am more than happy to have all of you. Okay. I love you all so very much. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy. Good night and good luck. And one more ad for the road. Okay, bye.